Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positively taking the Maryland Crab Cake Tour back out on the road. I was at Coco's last week. I brought one of those giant softballs home, and I made 6 different crab melts with it. I'm wearing my Costas gear. We're going to be there for the Derby on Saturday night. We're going to bring the show back there, but we were there that was so 2 weeks ago. Faley's was so 3 weeks ago, but we're going back again. We're going to be at Pizza John's on Friday. Probably with some proper French fries and gravy. And they have a great crab cake at Pizza John's, believe it or not, in Essex, even though you may have not had it because the cheesesteaks and pizza are so delicious. Next week, we're going to be at Planet Fitness in Timonium talking about a very special crab cake in the Timonium area and a family that had a tragedy earlier, Captain Trace. So we'll be doing that at Planet Fitness on the 7th. Faithley's on the 13th. And then the Fishmonger's Daughter in Catonsville. We will have the new scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. These are the Maryland treasures. I would say the Boardwalk one's been very popular because it's orange. But people that love horses and Assateague, they dig that. I like going across the Bay Bridge because it brings me back to summertime and a good time on the Eastern Shore. And, of course, the crustaceans that I like to eat. I call this sort of the black water thing because it's got mollusks, it's got birds, it's got herons, and things I like to eat, including the crabs at Costas, and I'm wearing the shirt right now. John Martin has been running for me because he's been having to pay out all these grand salamis that the Orioles are hitting and trying to become a 500 team. And I pray for them at Yankee Stadium this weekend. But I did think of you when they hit like 5 or 6 last week, John. I'm like, you're not ducking me because we're playing the Guardians, and you sent Seth Elkin after me after the Pirates beat up on the Orioles. But there's going to come a comeuppance. At some point, you knew I would get these Maryland Treasure scratch-offs and have them. But at some point, you knew there would be grand slams, and you knew I'd be bothering you on text the minute they happen.
Yes, and thank you for those gentle, not so subtle reminders. You know what? That's our job. That's what we do here. The Home Run Riches walk-off winnings promotion that features the contestant of the game and a chance for anyone who is lucky enough to be that contestant of the game to win $500 for every Orioles home run, plus $5,000 for every grand slam. And yeah, they've been putting on their hitting shoes the last few weeks. Like to see a little more consistency. We don't mind paying off big wins at all.
You don't mind. I have you on record as saying that.
Yes. It's part of it's baked in the cake. It's there.
So as the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery Gaming, you cheer when people win $5,000. I love to hear that,
Absolutely we do. Matter of fact, we've got a special promotion this year that's unique to the program. It's called our VIP experience. For one lucky winner each and every month who happens to be selected as contestant of the game, we elevate that. We upsell them to the Truist Club, where they will be our guests and with 3 of their friends. So a table for 4, thank you. They can wine and dine themselves in the Truist Club. They can get seats right outside there and watch the game. And for every home run hit, $500 and $5,000 every grand slam. But they also get $2,000 just for being selected our VIP Truist Club winners of the day. So that's a new wrinkle. You can get all the details at mdlottery.com and see how you too can be a potential candidate to be our VIP experience winner.
I have been to one game this year. I went in the afternoon. I was a guest at Curio Wellness, and Wendy called me day before and said I got seats. 90 degrees. They were playing the Diamondbacks. It was really hot in the sun. Took Rasig out. Took my buddy Brian Poole out. John Allen, my rock star buddy. And we sweated it out. And we were having a good time. And I had to get out of the sun. Like 3rd inning, I'm like, boys, I'm up. I just got to move. And I wasn't like drinking beer or any of that because I had to come home and work. I had things to do.
Did you have the SPF 50 all layered up?
How'd you know? I still have the bottle. It's right here. Hold on. It was only 30, but this is the bottle, like right here. So, so I did have it. And I lathered up and did my thing, but I got out of the sun and I walked up, and this is where I'm going to do this for Katie Griggs and for the Orioles, promote the Truist Club. And you have your big winner there this week, so I'll find out. But I snaked a friend of mine in the Truist Club, Ethan Giffen, who's coming on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour this week. He just wrote a book. And he's coming on Friday at Pizza John's. So I'm going to ask him about because I've seen lots of pictures. Anybody that goes to the Truist Club, any of my buddies from Accelerant that have been there, they always put the pictures, all the food up. Sure. And I'm thinking to myself, our big winner here this week, I hope they get a lot of home runs when they win. But I know it's a special experience. And Ethan's going to tell me all about the food. I know he is.
Yeah, we look forward to that. Lots of fun. Also, we look forward to new promotions at the Maryland Lottery. Jackpots rolling along, Mega Millions and Powerball into triple digits. We like that when that happens because people get excited about jackpots and
my wife does for sure.
I know she does. she's a big fan, and we
One
appreciate
day
that.
she's going to hit the big one, and when
Oh
people
man,
do, they don't know what to do with it. So I want to talk to you about the wheel thing,
yeah, the
because
big spin.
that's fun. And I've talked to Seth about this. When people show up and they
Hmm.
get to spin the big wheel, and this is the big spin, and this is the second time you've done it, that to me is one of the more fun things. Let's make a deal and flying people off and winners and all of that. And I even truest and if you win a Ravens competition and people are throwing and you're winning money, but there is something about like showing up on the game show style and
Yeah. Oh,
spinning and
absolutely.
winning hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially.
Absolutely. If you're lucky enough to play the big spin too and get a spin icon on your ticket, and you can go to see a video from our man Mike at the lottery who explains all the options with the big spin. But one option is including a visit here to the intergalactic headquarters at the Maryland Lottery and Gaming, and you can come here and actually spin a real life prize wheel, just like you see on television. And people love that, and because it engages them. Yeah, it's one thing to scratch a ticket and see I won, or to have a ticket and see the numbers come up when I won, but to actually get that tactile experience. You're touching the wheel, you're spinning it. Your heart is racing as it goes round and round and round. And just for showing up here, you've automatically won $50,000, and you can win up to two hundred and fifty
They're
thousand
happy
dollars.
when they walk in,
Oh,
John,
they're
right?
happy when they walk in. They're happier when they walk out.
I
I had
come
nothing to
down
do with
and
that.
I come down every couple months and I pick up the fresh,
Yep.
like I have the Maryland Treasure. And when I come in, I take the same pathway that the winners take, and I check in and security and all Montgomery, and I see the atrium. I saw the flowers, beautiful flowers in bloom in that building. And I go up and I think to myself, the winners come in. When I came in for these, I'm yelling, I want to see the wheel. And they wouldn't let me see it. They're like,
No,
no, no, can't see the wheel.
that's hallowed ground. The
So
wheel is
I
on
did not
hallowed
get to
ground.
see the wheel, but I'm just thinking with for people that show up in your offices, they're happy people. There's a whole like winter section where people cash tickets all day long. So I just think that this is even more fun than that because you're putting them on camera. And I've watched it. That guy a couple weeks ago
Yep.
where it was one hair
Oh
away from being
man.
a quarter million. Did you see that?
Yes. How about that, huh?
Well, people really win.
Yeah.
John Martin is here. He's the
Yep.
executive director of all things Maryland Lottery Gaming. All right, I want to give you some oxygen here because we do have the Maryland Treasures. I We're a horse racing state, John. We have the Preakness being run in Laurel 2 weeks from now. We have the Kentucky Derby this week. I want to talk about racetracks, but also the Assateague courses. And I saw the lady who I think made the boardwalk one from Frederick. You had real artists, and this happened, and we talked about it at length. But these have been the most fun scratch offs that I've had personally, even more. I'm not going to scented. I'll get the right word for the holiday oriented. Those are my favorite scratch offs, the scenteds. But these have been my favorite because people get to pick and they really do look at them and the art really is kind of cool and fun. So kudos to everybody on this promotion from last year to this year. This one's been one of the fun ones for me to talk about.
And it's been fun on this side as well. And yeah, results have been outstanding. Again, you can go to mdlottery.com and see profiles of all four of the artists and why and how they chose their inspiration to create what is a great family of games, our Maryland Treasures family of four different tickets at the $2 price point. And you can find those tickets at any of our nearly 4,300 retailers from Oakland to Ocean City, as I'm fond of saying.
Well, I like going to all of those places, including Swallow Falls. So when I saw this ticket in the beginning, I saw the horses and I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, nice. They're doing thorough. And then I saw the sand and I'm like, no, that's that. So we get different kind of horses. So I will give you, and I'm not going to blow my kazoo the way I used to. By the way, my grandfather blew the bugle at the racetrack in the 50s at the Preakness. So I do have a little history with that on the Italian side of my family, which they appreciate at Di Pasquale's. But you have the racetracks promotion going on. This is a time of the year where when I go into the OTB at Costas, I look up and sometimes you fool me. Sometimes I see Keno, and Keno has fun backgrounds when the little balls come out and do all of that too. But the racetrack thing, when I'm seeing Aqueduct here and Churchill, like all this, I look up and the racetrack looks so realistic that sometimes you fool me.
We have expectations have been set now for several years, and the players love this. And during the Triple Crown season, We have our Racetracks Triple Crown $6 for $5 promotion. You receive a $1 off for each $6 purchase now through June 21st. So you can be playing it all through the Triple Crown events as they kick off this weekend and continue on for several weeks. It's a lot of fun. People who are not only core racetracks players look forward to the promotion, but those people who have a casual interest in horse racing and are focused on the Triple Crown see this as a nice alternative to get in and have hopefully a winning experience playing the Maryland Lottery.
All right, John Martin is here. He's the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. We always tell you to do this responsibly, whether you're betting on the ponies this weekend or you're getting involved in Stanley Cup or NBA or Orioles, Magic, or any of the things going on. We have a lot of fun around here. And all right, so I want to give me some winter stories. This is you haven't been on in a couple of weeks. Seth's had all the fun talking about $1 million this and all that, and we've had people coming in on Big Spin. We've sent some people out to the Let's Make a Deal thing and to the Truist Club. What do you got for me here, John?
It's funny because from time to time, Nestor, there's a feeling in the air. I don't know how to describe it, but certain geographies, certain areas of the state tend to bubble up as being the focal point. And now we set our stages on, or our sights on, Hagerstown, where we had multiple winners recently in Hagerstown. One with a gentleman who won $500,000 on the $20 Gifts of Green scratch off. He's the kind of guy that enjoys taking his time, scratching the ticket. Very, very shocked when he saw the $500,000 prize come up. But he's got some plans. He's going to pay off the house. And we wish him well in that effort. He bought his ticket at AC&T Convenience in Hagerstown, $500,000 on the $20 Gifts of Green. And if that name sounds familiar to you, the Gifts of Green, we have a special promotion going on now. Again, the details at mdlottery.com on how you two can win a gift of go for the green, gift of green scratch off. It's easier when I read this ahead of time.
I'm not going to make you say it 3 times fast to laugh at you, but I could.
But enter that contest and promotion to hopefully win a book of the Gifts of Green tickets. But also in Hagerstown, that wasn't enough. One winner is never enough when you're taking the trek around the state. We had a Washington couple, and maybe you and your lovely wife have done this. I know my wife and I do the same thing. You go to the grocery store, one goes one way with the cart, the other goes the other way with whatever else they need to do.
You're describing every single visit we've ever had to a grocery store.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
are. There is never a point where we are hip on hip.
Yeah.
We get lost right. They always have the produce right at the front door, and we get lost right there. Yeah. She goes towards, let's say, berries. And you know what? I get to scouting the ice cream a little bit. You know what I mean? I just have a scouting mission, see what looks good, what's on sale, what's still frozen. And that's usually so. Yes, you're speaking my language, John. It's almost like I've been married 23 years or something.
So here's their routine. She with the cart does the shopping. He goes to the lottery self-service vending machine.
That's on the way out, though. I got to go in.
Yeah, but you know what? He's not concerned about all that.
In Through the Outdoors, my favorite Zeppelin album, if anybody's asking. So yes, okay.
I don't think that came up, but I'll continue.
All right.
So he stops by the lottery machine. He's interested in the jackpots. Powerball Mega Millions clearly being his favorite. So he decides, he's going to buy a Powerball ticket. And he buys a Powerball ticket, does not win the big prize, but he wins a lower tier prize, which gets him a $50,000 win. So while she's getting the milk and the eggs and the produce, he's getting 50 G's at the vending machine. And they have great plans to share their winning with their family. They got their win ticket at Martin's. Disclaimer, no relation, not heir to the Martin grocery chain throne am I.
Or the roll company.
Exactly.
But they're great potato rolls. I mean, no.
Exactly.
No. Not a promotion for your family, but no.
I follow their truck hoping something falls out the back door, but it's never happened. In Hagerstown. So again, two big winners in Hagerstown this week. A lot of fun. We also had a story of a retired postal worker who won a Pick 5 top prize, playing a zip code that resonated with their family in an out-of-town venue. So zip code, Pick 5 digits. It works. A lot of people do that. And this was lucky for that winner. And then we also had a semi-retired worker a semi-retired writer, rather, who works in Waldorf, lives and works in Waldorf, who won a $100,000 top prize on the $10 50 times the cash scratch off. So lots of winners, those stories, and much more at mdlottery.com.
John Martin is here. He's the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming, putting us on the road for the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. And, this Hagerstown talk, you remind me that, have I ever told you, you like donuts, right?
I've never met a donut I didn't like.
I didn't know this about you. There's special donuts in Hagerstown where the place opens only at night. Do you know this? Have I told you the
What?
story? No, I learned that. I've told this story a couple times. I think I told it earlier this month, but when I think of Hagerstown, my friend Emily Keller, who sits on Westmore's board, I'm going to give you a little oxygen to talk about because Westmore made a proclamation that you need to talk about. But Emily Keller was the mayor of Hagerstown. She and I befriended each other through the buy and Mako and whatnot. She serves now as a special, she's got a special title, but she's opioid response in regard to Westmore. But she's in Hagerstown. She didn't even tell me about this. I found this out on my own. I was doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour the first time, maybe about 5 years ago. Every county, Washington County, I had a crab cake out in Washington County, as well as Allegheny and all the rest of the counties out in that part of the world. Beautiful Garrett County, all those places. And when I'm in Hagerstown, I woke up in a hotel out there because we were doing the crab cake tour. And I wanted a donut and coffee, and I looked, and this place is very highly rated on all the Google, whatever. It's called Crumpy's, Krumpe. You can look it up. And when I looked it up, it said opens at 7 p.m. And I'm like, it's got to be a typo. Like, no, no, no. I want a donut. No offense to the chains and the DD and all the rest of the places, but I wanted a local donut, and it was so highly rated, and made me want it, and it had thousands of reviews. And I'm like, I looked at it and I looked it up, and sure enough, it's an after dinner donut place that is literally an institution. There's a whole alley named after it. And as the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming, and your
Wow.
important role in this state, including with these big winners in Hagerstown, that it's very important that if you go to Hagerstown, you do it after dark so you can get a Crumpy's donut because they're not open during the day. And I think that, and you got to go down an alley to do it. And his family's been doing it for 100. It is. There's my little Guy Fieri moment for you, John. All right. Does that help?
I love it because in the Martin family sharing secrets, we have the SDS, the Secret Donut Society. And when we get together from time to time,
You
we'll
got to
bring
go
donuts.
after dark.
Oh,
Don't go there
absolutely.
looking for
I
a
love it.
donut. Look it up. I go every time. My rock star buddy John Allen. We went out to see a
Yep.
meatloaf show at the Hagerstown at the theater. It's beautiful. By the way, I'm a fan of Hagerstown and Frederick. At being a Dundalk guy that had never been in that part of the
Wow.
world. So kudos to Hagerstown. I'm glad you guys are winning money. You got your baseball team going on. You got great donuts, and I love coming to Hagerstown. So
So you
there's my
suggest
Hagerstown travelogue for you. How about
you
that?
suggest having a donut when you have your meatloaf. Is that what you're
I
saying?
am suggesting that if you go to Hagerstown, and I do because I drive. Look, I offered to take Luke to the draft last week in Pittsburgh. Somehow he didn't want to go to Pittsburgh with me. But if
Yeah,
we would have gone, I'd say, look, we got to make sure
you
we
got to
arrive
go.
in Hagerstown
A little
sometime
out of your
between
way.
7 and 9 p.m.
Yep.
Otherwise, I can't get my donuts. So, nonetheless, by the way, last thing for you, because I know
Yes.
you're important. You got to go and you do the lottery
Well,
thing.
yeah.
You're a baseball guy. I had Jamie Moyer on this week, and I brought this up. I bring this up because, for people that love baseball, I forgot about first off my relationship with him and his greatness and his relationship with Digger Phelps and all that. But I want you to go listen to it because I know how much you love baseball. And he told me about Harvey Dorfman. He read a book about mental part of pitching, and it changed his entire
Wow.
life right around the time he met me in 1994. And he went on to have this fabulous career. So I know how much you love baseball and you appreciate what we do here because you told me on LinkedIn. But the Jamie Moyer thing came from out of the blue. So it's great baseball
I will
conversation.
check that out. I will check that out. Another thing we need to squeeze in again is that proclamation
Oh,
from
I
my
got to get
boss.
that in. Sure.
Yeah, some people may have heard about this. Other people don't know what I'm talking about. But the state of Maryland was one of the early adopters. I think New York, Illinois, Maryland were kind of neck and neck there in proclaiming for all state employees to ban them from participating in prediction markets. Lot of publicity, none of it good recently, about insider information impacting how people who are temporarily winning lots of money on the prediction markets because of inside information. And so the governor is, and I support this. Obviously,
Tell me about prediction markets a little bit because you and I
yeah,
talk so much about sports wagering getting on the up and up and not being a bookmaker salad,
Yep.
mess, right?
Yep. Yep.
And law enforcement and tax, all of the things that have made sin taxes or vice, whatever you would call them.
Yeah.
But this is a whole different level of something that my AI brain has to get around on, of the things you could bet with Louis the bookmaker, or could bet with offshore, or could bet with in some way that you feel like I might get paid, I might not. But this prediction thing is a whole different level of even when we're going to bomb a country, like crazy stuff that's happening, right?
It is, and it really is its own content block. So we can't do justice here in 30 seconds. But I would encourage people who have an interest or don't know about it. And I don't want to cross promote something we don't have a stake in. But John Oliver on HBO does a great show on a variety of topics, and recently took on prediction markets. So you will get the John Oliver twist. And again, if you're not familiar with him, it is not suitable for a workplace environment. So be careful where you are when you're
But a
when
lot
you're
of
listening.
facts are presented in journalism that you're
Oh,
not seeing in other places. And it's one of the reasons I don't know a lot about it, is
yeah,
because I'm not participating in it,
yeah,
but lots of people are. And there's real questions about not just the ethics of it, but
yeah.
all of it, being on the up and up, as we like to say, in the up and up, right?
Yeah, and specifically, I've got to toe the line because we are in litigation with one of the prediction market entities, and again, that's probably a story and a content
Sure.
for a later
But
date.
what Wes Moore did this week was basically say, if you're a state employee, you
Yeah,
cannot be participating in this, knowing
exactly,
things
exactly.
that are
Yeah, because again, there's a public trust. When we all assume the responsibility to be state employees, there is a public trust and implied a bond there. And if you take that information that you are privy to and use it for your personal gain or for an entity that you can direct gain from that, then the governor is very clear, and other states will quickly follow suit if they haven't already. That's going to be tolerated. That will not be tolerated. That will be up to and including termination if that be the final resolve of that. So very proud of our governor again to take a stand. And on the one hand, it's probably that, well, who would do something like that? Well, unfortunately, a lot of people do. And again, the thing that brought to the forefront was a serviceman who had inside information, placed a large bet on the overthrow of Maduro in Venezuela, and again, temporarily profited with over $400,000 of win on a prediction market. Well, I don't think he's ever going to see a dime of that. But again, those things are out there. Just cautionary tales for everybody, but for state employees, not only Maryland, but in other jurisdictions, there's a very hard line being drawn, and I applaud that effort.
During a week when we're doing horse racing and Derby and Preakness and all the
Yeah.
things that are going on here, that was the only thing you could bet on, I think, when I was born in 68, before, or go to Vegas, or, the ways that modern society has evolved. This thing was something that prediction markets, like 3 years ago, I'd been like, well, what is that? And now it's something that obviously the governor has to address. You can read more about it. And John, I always appreciate you coming on, talking a little baseball with us, and celebrating all of these winners. I know we're going to have a truest sweet winner. I hope between now and the next time we get together, there's 3 more Grand Slams. You got to give some money away. And certainly that would be big in the Yankee Stadium this weekend. So,
That would be great. I got to get in the car and run up to Hagerstown. I think if I could get now, I get there by
it's
7
nah, I
o'clock.
still see the sun shining. It's too early for that.
Okay.
John Martin is here, giving money away in Hagerstown and all over the state, all on the up and up. You can learn more at an MD Lottery. We always encourage people, please do this responsibly, as we always say. I'll be responsibly giving away these Maryland Treasures tickets, lots of places next couple weeks, including on Friday at Pizza John's, next week at Planet Fitness and Timonium, on the 7th, 13th at Fadley's, 21st at Fishmonger's Daughter in Catonsville. We're so thrilled for the Divine and Hahn family for getting that open in Catonsville. They give me my own seat in the front overlooking Frederick Road. It's going to be great. I have a perfect view of Bill's Music Store. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive donuts in Music City, Maryland.